Welcome in. I am the Crypto Bull God, and this is all in the charts. If you appreciate the content, make sure to hit the thumbs up button, drop me a comment. You gotta click the bell icon for notifications to know when I go live. Typically, I go live every single weekday between 5 and 6 Eastern Standard Time, p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Today, I'm going live a little bit early. Going to have a little bit of an earlier end to the day for myself. I am, full disclosure, dragging big time today. It's kind of my own fault, but I'm dragging big time today. So CBG's going to bed early, very early tonight. Need to get a lot of sleep because I am, like I said, full disclosure, I'm dragging big time. I hope everyone is feeling a lot more energetic and awake than I am. I'm sure with a good 8 hours of sleep tonight, I will be feeling refreshed and recharged for tomorrow. I hope everyone had a really nice weekend. As you know, I'm not sure if you caught it or not, but I did not live stream on Friday. I ended up live streaming on Saturday. I thought the live stream had some really good value-added content in there. Make sure to catch it out if you hadn't already. Had really good engagement for my audience, which I really appreciated. One of the main things that we covered on that Saturday live stream was talking about I basically provided a range using history, of course, using data. I provided a range under when it was most likely that the Federal Reserve would end up decreasing interest rates. Again, because my view based on data is we're not increasing interest rates. We're going to be decreasing interest rates. And what that actually means, what you should consider when the Federal Reserve comes in to decrease interest rates. I know there's also something else I was thinking about today, and I was listening to something that made me think about this before we kind of get into the crypto talk. M786WP, let's fucking go, Shane. Glad to see you here. If you've been here, you know I'm poor with DMs, so I will. If I don't get to your DM today, I promise to get to it tomorrow. If you sent me a DM, I'm doing a little bit of self-care today. I'm going to have dinner, like I said, and just go to bed early. So anyway, one of the things I've been thinking about personally, real quick before we get into some of these crypto charts, I'm waiting for the Federal Reserve to decrease interest rates. One of the reasons I'm waiting, it's kind of twofold. One, I've been throwing out this, for those who have been following me for a while, I've spoken about getting a new car for a long time. And also, I've had a lot of home searches saved in the state of Florida. Tweeted something out earlier asking where people live in Florida. And I know for myself, I want lower interest rates to take advantage of any loans. And so I'm going to be very, very much looking forward to and on top of when the Federal Reserve starts to decrease interest rates, because that will obviously impact mortgage rates, and that'll impact when you go out and take out a loan for cars. Of course, there's a spread that exists between those two things. If the federal funds rate is, say, at 5% like it is, your mortgage rate may have a 2 or 3 point spread, so you're going to get charged 7 or 8%. There's typically a lag in recognition when the interest rates that you'll feel as a consumer will go down. So as the Federal Reserve does start to decrease rates, you're not going to realize that in the market right away. What will happen is they decrease rates to say 3%, the delta or spread that exists between the real rates you're paying versus the federal fund rates, that will grow larger because there's more risk in the market. So banks have less risk appetite. So the delta might be, or the spread might be 4%, such that the rate you're feeling in the market is still 7 or 8%. But over time, obviously, that will decrease. That spread will condense down to that 2 or 3%, and so rates will eventually come down. But that was a really quick summary, but just something I've been spending some time thinking about. So maybe the consumer won't really start to feel some of this until late 2024, if not 2025. Josh, let's fucking go. Happy Monday indeed. It does suck as a buyer, but be patient. Guys, I would appreciate, I see everybody new tuning in, and I do appreciate the support on the channel. If you can hide the chat and give a thumbs up, I would appreciate it. We're going to go over several Bitcoin charts. We're also going to go over a few charts One chart in particular, I don't even know if we've covered it on this channel. If we did cover it on this channel, we're going to look at multiple time frames on it, and I wanted to have a conversation about that. I was trying to find some different charts that we could take a look at today. We're also going to take a look at Bitcoin Cash, because Bitcoin Cash, which is an OG coin, that thing has been popping. So wanted to kind of share thoughts there in terms of where we could see a top out, initial top out at, kind of take a look at some of the price indicators, and also talk about some of the other OG coins like Stellar Lumens, like a Zcash, like an Ethereum Classic, like a Digibyte, like a Doge. So watching some of those things potentially popping, as well as Litecoin. So with that being said, let's kind of get into it today. You can see the market is down a little bit right now. Let's kind of focus on Bitcoin, because that's going to be our driver of value within this market. You can see, let's just focus on price action. This is the 12-hour. You know why, if you've been here for a while. You know why I like to focus on the 12-hour chart. Tons of historical significance. We're going to see this golden cross come in here, which is big. You know, we had this fake out here that I spoke about on the death cross. We're going to see this golden cross here come in, which is going to be really good for the market. This thing, I mean, at the rate of trajectory here, it looks like it'll probably have a positive cross by, say, Thursday. So that'll be good to see. Price is just kind of consolidating up here. And for those that are getting a little bit, what I would encourage you, this is what I would say to you. What I always encourage on this channel for 99% of you, the most helpful thing that you can do is to really zoom out and not lose perspective on a higher time frame, macro perspective. If you're getting, again, this is why a lot of people got weeded out in this process and weren't buying at these low levels, because they were ineffective at zooming out. Okay, right now we're just getting a little bit of healthy consolidation. That's all that's going on. I mean, this is literally just consolidating. And if you're struggling to see that, this is what I would show you. Okay, I put out a chart in cartoon form over the weekend that you can take a look at on Twitter at CryptoBullGod. We made a move up here and a move down. We made a move up here and a move down, and now we're making another move up. Guys, we're creating all these higher highs and higher lows, right? It's the emotion. Most of you, I don't want to say you, my audience, because I know you guys are super smart. Most of the people that get weeded out in this market, it's because they have no true conviction and they get emotional about what it is they're investing in. So just try to keep perspective that all we're doing right now is we're seeing some healthy consolidation. The other thing that I wanted to point out here, if we take a look at price indicators, I did notice some bullish divergence coming in on some of these smaller time frames, lower time frames on Bitcoin. You can see the RSI is increasing in value as price is, yes, decreasing in value here. You can see some bullish divergence coming in. It's also prevalent on the 30-minute. I'm not sure if it's on the 2-hour. Yeah, it's even prevalent on the 2-hour. In fact, you can actually see it more. So this is one of these things when I'm evaluating a chart, and I've shared this with you guys before. When I'm evaluating a chart, let's say I'm looking at a daily. Let's just say I'm looking at a daily chart, and I see some consolidation going on here. And I'm thinking to myself, I wonder how much longer this consolidation could really last. One of the things that I go to a lower time frame. And one of the main things I look for is bullish divergence. Okay, so again, in this case, what we're seeing is price decreasing, okay? And we're seeing the RSI increasing, okay? This is a clue. It's not a certainty. You know, there's no certainties in charting, but this is a clue that the strength, this is the way I would think of it, okay? The strength that is behind the move down in price is weakening, okay? There's seller exhaustion is beginning to come in here, okay? So there's also, you know, we're at an interesting point right now for Bitcoin in terms of this move up, because if we go back to the 12-hour chart and kind of consolidate price action a little bit, we're at this psychological $30,000 level. What's going on for me right now, and again, I understand there's no certainties in charting. Bitcoin could collapse and go to zero. Bitcoin could shoot up to $1 million tomorrow. Both have probabilities of a number so low that it's not even worth calculating. The point is, of what I'm trying to illustrate is, yes, I understand there is a probability for everything in charting. But for me, price action really isn't going to get interesting. It's really not going to get interesting until we start to push up into this zone here at the upper end, 43. And really the zone for me that's going to get really interesting is this 43 to 48 area. Again, I am going to be very active on Twitter. If you guys are not following me at Crypto Bull God on Twitter, I would strongly suggest you follow me. I am going to be very active on Twitter, okay? Because for all the people who are regurgitating the same 4-year cycle charts, okay, saying that basically, and I've said this on this channel so many times, they have a TV script that we're going to come up here and then we're just going to consolidate for 6 to 8 months until the halving. They have it all scripted out to 2025, okay? Well, for all those people that are oh so confident on that one chart that they share on a 4-year cycle, I'm going to be tweeting out to those individuals that put your money where your mouth is. If you really feel that convicted that we're going to top anywhere up in this mid to upper $40,000 range, you should be selling a fair amount of your Bitcoin, right? If you think that Bitcoin's really going to retrace 50% from there, you should be selling it, okay? And again, there's a possibility that everything that I'm sharing with you in terms of my view of what's going to happen this year or early next year, I could be wrong. Absolutely. I'm not going to go over this again because I've gone over this in many live streams. I've been right before, I've been wrong before, but I'm providing concrete evidence on multiple charts that are leading credence to the idea that we really are going to get a blow off top a lot sooner than people are anticipating. So really, that's the area that really interests me. Now, this orange box that we've spoken about here many times, and I'll get to the comments in a moment here. I don't want to lose track of you guys. I appreciate you dropping me some comments here. This orange box is the box that I really want to get up to sooner rather than later. This green candle, this is what I would call a green Jesus candle. You can see volume came in here. We're right in this red zone right now. Again, my view is right when we punch above, we're going to call it 32,000. We can get technical and say it's 31.8 or 31.6 or 31.9 or whatever the case is, 32, okay? When we punch above 32, which could happen as early as this week, it could happen as late as, mid or late July. Although I suspect it's not going to take much past July. We're going to shoot right up into this region between 35 to 43. It would be healthy. It would be healthy and it would be completely fine if we close out the month of June with sort of this indecision, thin red body or thin green body candle here. I'd be 100% fine with that. If we go to the price indicators, meaning this week, really there isn't really much going on this week. If we go to the price indicators, I'm very encouraged by what I see going on. Now, as you recall, when we were down here, okay, when we were down in this zone, I was saying there was a lot of momentum that needed to pick up in a lot of these tokens that we took a look at, right? Ethereum, Bitcoin, and some of the others, your Cardano and your Solano, a lot of tokens, right? And we can focus on altcoins tomorrow. We'll get to altcoins tomorrow. But here, if we look at the price indicators, the reason that I'm saying it's encouraging, this is a weekly, look at the stochastic RSI. Some of these indicators, even if you're not a TA person and you're coming here to try to learn things, there are certain things that I point out in the charts to you guys that should start to click more and more and more because I'm repeating the same thing over and over again, right? So if we look at the stochastic RSI, you should be able to look at the stochastic RSI by now and say, wow, that is starting to turn really bullish. Why? 41.38 is above 24.30. And it's above our trigger line. So not only do we have a positive cross on the stochastic RSI, but it's above that 20 trigger line. Look at the RSI. We're at 62 basically. 62, which is great. And I love to see this. We spent time last week and the week before, several weeks, okay? What did I say about the MACD? When we started crossing down, okay, well, we want to see this thing sort of flatten and begin to cross up. Look what happened. This wasn't even a rounded, this wasn't even a flattening and then a cross. This thing had a V-shaped recovery. This has a V-shaped recovery in the MACD. And now we're starting to see a positive cross come in. Even if we get an indecision candle close this month, again, which I'm 100% great about because we're back in this red zone, okay? I'm 100% fine with that. What's going to happen is this MACD is going to sort of level out here still with a positive cross. That's what you'll see. And we're going to be waiting in successive weeks to see await bullish confirmation of continued upside movement, and that's going to continue to push that MACD up, okay? Now, I'm real curious. I wanted to look at this before the live stream, and I didn't have an opportunity. Are there any key areas on the RSI that we can identify real quick here together as a team, as a unit, to determine, man, this chart is very busy. Look at all these red lines of resistance up here. It gets a little, oof, look at that. Are there any... I don't want to move this around. I want to keep it where it's at. Are there any areas of RSI that would be worth noting? Okay, so here, it looks like we couldn't get above 70. And then once we punched above 70. So I might put a line. So I'll tell you what I'm looking at right now. I'm just going to put a line of resistance in here. And we'll just make it 70 to make it simple. Now, why did I put in a line of price confluence on the weekly RSI at 70? The reason is because after we had our beer virus V-shaped bottom here and we came up, back in this area that I've compared current price action to, you could see the RSI couldn't get above 70. Once it did move above 70, which was right here, basically in this area, we had a big price movement up, right? So I want to see that RSI get above 70. And you can actually see, interestingly enough, this entire move, I might actually have to take a closer look at this once I get off this live stream. Maybe I'll have time before I go to bed. Oh, man. Maybe I'll have time before I go to bed and I can tweet something out. But you can see this entire move is monumental. I mean, look at this. This is beautiful. And this is... When you zoom out, it really makes you, I love to see this. I mean, this is really this is a true trend reversal, and you can't argue otherwise. Look at this. This is what I tweeted out, too. A stair step, up, sideways, right? Up, up, sideways. And now we're just starting another stair step up, and more than likely, once we move up here, then we're going to go like this, and then we're just going to continue going up, okay? That is my view. And eventually, once we get high enough, things are just going to start entering a true parabola, and that's when, you know, it's going to be harder to get levels of retracement, okay? So, anywho, where I was going with this is, even though we've had this significant surge in price since we bottomed down here at 15,500, okay? This RSI has, the entire time, look at the RSI, it has not managed to get above 70. So one of the things I'm pondering with you now live as I'm evaluating the data, I want to take a closer look at the charts, but you can see back in this time period that I've compared our current price action to that September, October of 2020. Once we finally pushed above 70, right? See how the RSI here the entire time was not above 70. All this price action here, right? Once we punched above 70, that's when we saw the significant parabolic rise in Bitcoin. So something I'm going to keep an eye on, something I'm going to take a closer look at. Now, this is also very encouraging. This is a 3-day. We're going to keep an eye on the 3-day chart. I told you it's probably the top chart that concerns me in terms of creating a new all-time high by this year. We're starting to get some significant moves to the upside on the 3-day chart. We've actually exceeded my expectations in terms of this candle managed to stay. If we move this out of the way, my trajectory, you can see that we've managed to stay above this 200. I would love on a 3-day chart to see price action remain above this 200 simple moving average. That's going to continue to force the 50 to increase at an escalated rate. It's going to cause the 200 to stop declining and flatten out and begin to curl up, okay, as we continue pushing up like I have drawn here, okay? And I have this drawn, you know, the way I have this drawn right now is that we're going to get a golden cross on the 3-day, which would be monumental, by late July. I think given our current trajectory, I think somewhere around the 15th of July, I have this crossing at about the 21st. I think anywhere around the 15th on in July to late July is very reasonable to assume that we're going to get a golden cross on the 3-day, which is very, very bullish. Again, this is the monthly. This is something I'm going to be taking a look at with you guys later this week. We are closing out the monthly candlestick. I've hit home on the importance of the monthly close. Guys, I mean, I don't know how you can't be bullish about this. I mean, get this out of the way for a moment. Look at price action. Look at these candlesticks, guys. And again, what is going on? What's part of the story? Part of the story that's being created on this chart. These wicks, if you're in this market and you're invested, especially if you're newer, you've got to remember times like this, because these wicks, these are what weed people out. This is volatility. Look at this long wick. This is saying we opened here. The story back in March was we opened at 23. We went all the way down to 19, and we ended up closing all the way up at 28. Opened at 23, went down to 19, and closed at 28. Welcome, ding, 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 to crypto, all right? These wicks weed people out, okay? Just don't learn from this. Learn from this. If you got weeded out, look, I've gotten weeded out from positions before, okay? It's happened to me. If it hasn't happened to you, it will happen to you. Although if you survived this time and you didn't get weeded out, fucking congratulations to you. Consider yourself an OG if you survived this entire time without feeling monumentally salty, and you're here and very convicted in the space. You're in my opinion, you're an OG. But the other thing I'm encouraged about with what's going on in the monthly, it's not just the price data. Price action is king, but look at the price indicators. When June closes, okay, look at the MACD kissing right here. This is going to get a positive cross. We may push above 0. If July comes in bullish, as I'm anticipating, July will definitively make this cross above 0, but we're very close to crossing above 0. We're getting a cross on the MACD, which if you go back in time, we've evaluated this before, is monumentally bullish. The RSI is right at 52, which is right above 50. I have a zone between 50 and 58 here. I want to see it's great that we're above 50. I want to see us push above 58. And the stochastic RSI is 81 over 67. Very, very bullish. So price indicators look great. Now, this is the chart that I wanted to take a look at with you guys. Let me drop to the comments real quick. Digibulls in the house. Welcome in, Christian. Kevin, you're a whole coiner with Bitcoin Cash. Congratulations. I have a bunch of OG coins. I had tweeted out that some of it is just the nostalgia of it, or just the I forget the word, is just the I can't think of the word, but I love the idea that I just own some of the classic crypto coins, right? I own Stellar Lumens, I own Zcash and Dash, and I own Litecoin and Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum Classic. The largest OG coin I hold is Digibyte. Shout out to the Digibulls. That is the largest OG coin I hold. But even XRP would be an OG coin. I guess I didn't classify that as an OG coin just because it's in the top 10. But the XRP is definitely an OG coin, and I own that as well. But Digibyte is my largest OG coin holding. Shout out to the Digibulls. Welcome in, Jorge. So Jorge, if anyone doesn't know what Jorge, I'll give that a laugh. Oh, I can't give that an emoji. Here, I'll laugh at Brian. This is for you. I'm going to laugh at Brian before I read Brian's comments. For those who don't know what Jorge is talking about, I had posted a video on yesterday. I had driven to Whole Foods, and I was in the parking lot. And just real quick, what happened was I posted a video from my car and just spoke to a pet peeve, which was when I pulled into the parking lot, there was a car in front of me with the blinker on, waiting to get into a spot, and you're thinking, okay, not a big deal. Well, I sat there for approximately 60 seconds. Now, I didn't honk the horn. I didn't go around them. I didn't do anything stupid, but they were waiting for someone to pull out, right? And that's what she said. Works every time. At least I think so. Or I hope so. At least that I know about. No, but this car was waiting for someone else to pull out, and you're thinking, all right, have some patience, CBG. If this car made the executive decision to move up like 10, 20 feet tops, there were a fleet of open spaces. So it just speaks to and it was just one woman in a car. It's not like she had 6 kids with her. She had some reason that she needed to be 10 or 20 feet closer to the store. It's called laziness. We live in what is probably the fattest country in the world. Lazy people. If there's one thing, we all have pet peeves. I would say one of the biggest pet peeves I have are people who are not accountable for their actions and words, and people who are just lazy. They don't want to make something of their life, and they make up excuses, and it's somebody else's fault. I'm really starting to go off on a tangent, so I'm going to stop. Point is, what Jorge was getting at is I can't stand somebody being that lazy to make everyone else wait to get into a space that's 10 to 20 feet closer than a fleet of open spaces. I'm actually the guy that parks as far away as possible from everyone because I don't want anyone to ding my car. I'm the person that always takes the end spot. I take after my grandfather. Oh, God. Girlfriends, I've always loved that one. You know, if you find a girl who doesn't mind that you park like 500 feet away, I'll always offer to drop her off. I mean, you know, I won't make her walk. But if you find a girl that doesn't mind that you park 500 feet away or can relate, you got a good girl there. If you find a girl that like always bitches and complains and gives you a hard time about it, you might want to reconsider things. If there's no all-time high this year, where would you think this rally stalls out? That's a good question. Well, if there's no all-time high, and again, what we're not saying is a blow off top this year with the idea that what I take from that is, and I'm very open to the idea, I could be off by a few months, maybe we get an all-time high by this year, but we really don't have a blow off top until early next year, right? I've talked about no matter what, I've talked about the halving being a sell the news event, so maybe our blow off top is going into the halving. I'm open to that idea. It would definitely go longer than I would anticipate, but I'm very open to that idea. So maybe we have an all-time high this year. We hit like 75,000, but you know we don't have our blow-off, you know, $95,000 top, $120,000 top, $130,000, wherever the hell it's going to top at, 150,000, which would exceed my expectations. Where could we stall at if we don't see an all-time high this year? So what I would personally do is I would look at major areas of price confluence, Brian. That's what I would look at. I would also look at Fibonacci retracements. I would take the top of this move all the way to the bottom here approximately. So, you know, if we really underwhelm this year, 0.618 is a major level at 39,000. I also see the 0.786 all the way up at 50,000. So I think that provides a really, and 50,000 is all the way up here towards 52,000. I could see us, I think this would be a major area for me. Let me circle this for you. Or let me create a box. Let me tell you why I picked this. The 0.786 and the 0.618 fib retracement levels are key fib retracement levels when looking at Fibonacci retracements, okay? So when price ultimately bottoms and we start coming up, right? Price likes to come back up and revisit these areas and it hits as resistance, okay? Now, why didn't I draw the boxes perfectly between 0.618 and 0.786? Well, there's also an area of price confluence right here at 52,000 and 38,900 is close enough to 39,270, right? So if we don't create a new all-time high this year, I could see price stalling out anywhere between 38,900 and 52,000. Those would be the two, that would be like my zone of resistance that I would be looking for. Again, not my expectations, but it's a great question because you do have to be prepared for any scenario. Again, I've reiterated, how many times have I said this, guys? I'm very, very open to being incorrect, okay? But I told you, obviously, I was very incorrect on the type of correction that we had here. Again, this wasn't, people get triggered when you say this. This was actually not a bear market. This was actually a correction. Now, I believe what's going to happen once we actually get our blow off top, we are going to be in a bear market. And we will see the full breadth of what a bear market can look like. This was brutal. There's no doubt about it, but it was a correction within a broader a broader bullish structure. And again, this triggers people when you say it, but this is just the view from a TA standpoint, okay? 40 to 48, 42 to 48. Yeah, so you and I are pretty aligned there. I said 38.9. We're just going to call it 39. 39 to 52 is very close to 42 to 48, right? So yeah, I think that's very sensible. Now, let's take a look at a chart we haven't. I don't know that we've taken a look at this chart before, but if you guys are familiar with the Gaussian channel essentially, the way I would think of a Gaussian channel is green is bullish, red is bearish. And the way I would verbalize this in layman's terms to sort of make sense of what this channel is telling us is it's telling us trend reversal. Okay, so when we flip red to green, it's telling us there's a trend reversal to a bullish direction, which is to the upside. When we go from green to red, there's a trend reversal bearish to the downside, okay? So that's essentially what we're looking at here. And what I like to see right now, what you want to see when you're looking at a Gaussian channel, you want to, whatever time frame you're looking at, you want to make sure that price is remaining above the green channel. Now, anytime we go to a lower time frame, like a daily, look at how many times we flip red and green. There's a lot more volatility when you get into lower time frames. So the more higher time frame we go, we see less flips, and there's also more credence behind the move. There's more. We should pay attention more. This is probably the best way to put it. The higher the time frame, within reason. We're not going to look at this on a 3-month chart. There's no credibility there. But the higher the time frame, if we're looking at like a 3-day or a 5-day, for instance, it holds a lot more weight and significance, and we should pay a lot more attention to it than lower time frames. So in this case, what's really good to see, okay, we started to re-enter the channel here on the 3-day, and we bounced right out of it. 3-day is looking very healthy. If we go to a 4-day, 4 days looking very healthy. 5-day is looking very healthy. You can see we're above the green Gaussian. Shit, let's go to a 6-day. If we go to a 6-day, you can see we just flipped green and we're above it. Now the question is, and you can see the majority of this chart is in green. There's only a few red spots here that you can spot, okay? A few red spots, all right? And the reason, by the way, the reason this flipped here, you might say to me, well, why did we flip red here when price action had actually recovered and we started going up CBG? That doesn't make any sense. Well, the recovery here was so quickly that the way this thing is calculated, it just sort of lagged the actual volatile flip back up to the upside, okay? So the way this was calculated on May 6th, this was such a strong move to the upside that the Gaussian channel calculation it sort of lagged that price movement, if that makes sense. Now, let's get into where we're at. So 6-day, we're above. Now, let's go to the 1 week. As you can see on the 1 week, we haven't flipped yet, but what I would say is what's very bullish about this chart, guys, looking at the Gaussian channel right now on the weekly, do you see anything that's bullish even though we haven't flipped from red to green for a trend confirmation to the bullish upside? Do you see anything that stands out to you that you say, hey, this is looking encouraging, this is looking bullish? Anybody see anything? There's like a 20-30 second lag between comments and recognition here on the live stream. Anybody see anything? Bueller. Do you guys know I got a copyright claim on my live stream from a couple live streams ago because I put up that technical difficulties thing with the music? I couldn't believe it. I figured I would, but like I got a fucking copyright claim for that. Like, fuck you, YouTube. YouTube can be such a, ugh. Anyway, let's get back to what is bullish on the Gaussian on the weekly here. So what's bullish is this candlestick right here slammed right. You see how we were in this red region here? See how we just were kind of stuck? Now, very encouraging. With each successive move up, we saw encouraging price action, okay? First, on the weekly Gaussian, you can see we were well below. Look at all this price action below the red Gaussian, right? In general, that would, if you go back in time, that represents a significant buying opportunity. Not many times were we below the Gaussian channel in a weekly, okay? Big buying opportunity. Now, here it was bullish because we at least got up into the red zone. Here it was bullish because we punched above this red line. This red line is the median line. Just think of it as the middle line. We punched up above it. We're still not back above the red. This green Jesus candle punched us right out of the Gaussian. This is what is going to cause the Gaussian channel to eventually flip green in the coming several weeks. What I am fully anticipating, and we will revisit this chart in July to confirm this, I am anticipating for the Gaussian channel to turn green in the month of July, okay? So long as price, which I believe it will, maintains itself roughly above 28,800, which I believe it will, we can actually go back to a 12-hour chart. You know, I've said about the 12-hour chart, the 200 simple moving average, use that as your magnet that the lowest we should go, if I'm correct in my assertion that we're going to create a blow-off top and we're in that fifth wave, we could come all the way as low as the 200. Well, the 200 on the 12-hour, that continues to move up, and right now we're sitting at 27,900. This thing's going to be up at 28,500, 28,800 in no time. So yes, I don't suspect we're going to go much lower than 28,800 at the moment. So long as price maintains itself up in this area, what's going to happen is this Gaussian eventually is going to start coming up like this, okay? And it's going to, there's the median line, okay? This is going to turn green at some point in here, okay? So long as we can sustain itself. More bullish the price action on the weekly, the quicker the Gaussian channel is going to turn green. So very, very good to see. Bitcoin dominance, nothing new really to speak to here. You can see that I'm still expecting this yellow zone to be hit in some way. We're in our oversold territory. We could remain up here for a couple months. Bottom line is, I do not think Bitcoin dominance has topped at this point. Now that we've confirmed that we've held this green horizontal area at 49% as support, I'm expecting one big flush up into this 53 to 50%, 58% area. Somewhere in here, anywhere in here. It could barely touch 53, but somewhere between 53 and 58 before we see a rollover. Jorge, I'm dumping on everybody's community. I don't care. Funny story about dumping on the community. A friend said he went all in on crypto project because the community said that they won't going down 99% from that movement. Jorge, I'm glad you shared this story. Guys, if your aim, and I really want you to think about this and you only know this, if your aim is to get rich quickly, you're going to lose all your money. Listen to that again. If you think that this market's like easy and you found the next best project and it's going to do 1,000x or 100x, you're throwing your money in that thing, that's called a get rich quick scheme. You will lose all your money. Okay? Being successful in this market requires dedication, it requires resilience, it requires education, it requires logic, and it requires help from others, okay? Which is hopefully why you're tuning in part to this channel, that I'm helping you out. But you need to do your own due diligence, and you need to have trusted people aside of you to challenge your thought process. At times you'll agree with what they're saying, and at times you should disagree with what you're saying. Even someone like I've mentioned on this channel a few times, I've mentioned several different technical analysts on this channel who I respect, that I follow on Twitter. Even someone who I know, a lot of guys here like to follow Credible Crypto. I would say the majority of his analyses that I've seen, I would say that I agree with. But there have certainly been analyses that he's put together that I've disagreed with. His views on certain things where I disagreed with, and that's healthy. That's normal. You shouldn't agree 100% with somebody. Think of somebody in your own career field. It's healthy to disagree. Sometimes when we're putting a actuarial analysis together of something, it's a lot of subjectivity, and it's a balance of art and science, and so you have opposing viewpoints, and it's healthy. It gets you to think about things differently. But just make sure you're utilizing resources out there and understand why you're getting in the market. You're not going to get rich quick. Bitcoin Cash. Let's talk about what's going on here. Here are my OG coins. I need to add XRP in here. Again, because it was a top 10 coin, I think that's why I didn't think of it. But obviously, it is. It should be in here. Oh, excuse me. You can tell I'm tired of this. Fuck. Okay. Bitcoin Cash. We're at 225. Funny story. I bought actually a couple Bitcoin Cash when we were down here at $100. I was like, I'm just gonna buy a couple of these because again, I like holding on to the OG coins. So I'm already up over 100% on what I purchased. I'm not selling any of it. I'm just gonna hold on to some of these OG coins that I have. Like the one, like I'll tell you full disclosure. Usually I don't get this specific, but I don't mind telling you. So, and I don't have Zcash and Dash on here. What the hell is wrong with me? Zcash. So I'll tell you a few coins that I own that I don't plan to sell unless if something, and again, this is like the 1% likelihood that it actually happens. So I don't see this happening. Unless if these coins pull like a 500x, okay, or like a 50x, excuse me. Unless if Dash and Zcash, for instance, pull a 50x, I'm not selling any of it. But Dash, Zcash, Bitcoin Cash, those are three coins whose holdings I own, and I don't own a lot. I don't own a lot, and I just plan to hold on to it. So again, unless if Dash all of a sudden shoots up to 1,500, well, then I'm gonna consider selling some. You see Bitcoin Cash testing all-time highs all the way up here at like 4,000. You better believe I'm selling my Bitcoin Cash, but I don't see that happening. So someday maybe it'll hit those levels, but let's have an honest conversation about what's going on in this chart. So I have a few major areas of resistance hit here. You can see 164 we got above. We're now getting above this area, which is great. This is at 216. Ultimately, what I could see, and we're going to try to even get a little bit more cute here now that we're starting to come up to these levels. I mean, there's a wick there. I mean, you could probably, if you want to be more conservative, we'll just say anywhere in there. It's fine. So we're going to make this 304. This is on a weekly, by the way. And where could I see Bitcoin Cash ultimately topping out at? It's either going to top out where it's at right now before we get a healthy pullback, or what I could see one final push up all the way somewhere up to $300, maybe even $385. I know that's hard to believe, but anywhere what I could see, 290 looks like it if you really want to start getting cute. But really, if we see one final push, and maybe we fall a little bit short of this red box, because I see some price confluence at 290, but I could see one final push, whether it's this week or next week, one little final push up into this area before we see some sort of a healthy pullback and then continued upside movement here. Now, if we look at the price indicators, one of the key things you want to look for, the RSI, is the RSI topping, okay? If we look at the RSI, we're at 76, okay? We're at 76. That's pretty heated. You can see in the past, this was a topping area right there at 70. And, okay, so what this tells me is we're in a danger zone in the RSI right now, right? Now, we can remain oversold for a period, we can remain overbought for a period of time. Charts can remain overbought and oversold for extended periods of time. This is just a warning flag, okay? This is a caution flag. We're in this heated zone. Could we stay up here for several weeks? Yes. But this is telling you that a hard correction, a hard, healthy correction could be coming in a matter of soon. So we're right between 70 and 83. The most likely thing to me, again, if you ask me, hey, what's the most probable situation here? The most probable situation to me is we've already topped, or we're going to get one final push before we pull back, okay? I don't see this thing just continuing, just continuing to run. That's unrealistic, okay? We're overbought, and more than likely, even if we get one more push up to this $300 area, that's when we could see a correction. Guys, if you look at, why do I have two charts of Bitcoin Cash up? I don't know. If you look at Bitcoin Cash relativity chart relative to Bitcoin, I mean, this thing has just been in a death spiral, right? It's been in a death spiral. So you can see it's losing value to Bitcoin big time. And you can see the bottom, when we hit here, a big rise. We hit the bottom here, a big rise. We hit the bottom here, not as much a big rise. We hit the bottom again, big rise. Okay, so the relativity could get all the way up to here. I mean, there could be one more push here. I was also looking at this. I mean, you could see, based on where we're at, let's take a look at this together. Relative to Bitcoin, all this is saying is we could see upwards of maybe another 40% move relative to Bitcoin. That's not, what that means is a 40% move on top of whatever Bitcoin is doing, okay? And I wanted to point out to you real quick before I pop over to the comments and probably pop out of the live stream. I had tweeted this out today for everyone who's in Digibyte. Guys, I know that Digibyte has gone lower than I was anticipating. I'm actually, and I was not counting on this, but I am seriously considering increasing my Digibyte position. I already own what I consider to be a fuck ton of Digibyte, but I'm considering increasing my position because of how low we are. It's pretty fucking ridiculous. Thing has dropped all the way to market cap 180. This is a falling wedge. This is on a 6-week chart, Heikin-Ashi candle. You might say to me, why do you have a line going through this candlestick? This is a 6-week candlestick. It's not going to finish printing until July 30th. So we still have 6 weeks. This is a massive falling wedge. I have the technical target drawn, right? Again, there's no reason the technical target, which I have drawn going all the way up here, has to play out. At the very least, the weakest amount of price performance I would expect from this, even if it underperforms what I'm anticipating, you should still see more than likely. You still should see more than likely a rise all the way up to this line of 200%. So that's saying Digibyte, excuse me, Digibyte outperforming Bitcoin by around 200%. Okay, we can draw other areas of price confluence on here, but I'm not going to. So these are I would pay attention to some of these OG coins, your Digibytes, again, I have them up here. All these coins here, I would pay attention to them. Coins that people say are dead, they can't pump. Yes, they can pump. One of the ones I was actually eyeing that I really like the chart on is Stellar Lumens, XLM. I really like the chart setup on that. I think that thing is primed to make a potential large move up. So we'll have to keep an eye on it. But guys, that's all I had. Let's see what else, what other questions you have. I'm getting a little tired, so I might have to sign out here. Smart choice, Jorge. Satoshi's over women. Smart choice. Maybe just because I got burned bad, but nah. Marriage can be a beautiful thing. So, but I appreciate the humor in what you're saying. I had Udo when it was at almost $1. I had a stupid amount of it. Now the 0.4 cents. Please learn from me, people, because I will pull the plug on you without remorse. No, there's life lessons in there. I mean, that's funny, not funny, right? So yes, these coins, you have to recognize through your own due diligence and education and with the help of others, what stage of a cycle are we in, or a wave movement are we in, and should you be selling or buying? That's ultimately what's going to determine your success. And I've spoken to this, guys, and I'm very transparent about this, right? I have a lot of humility, and I believe myself to be an extremely humble person, okay? I saw during this entire movement here, I mean, when I think back, the size of my crypto portfolio, it was ginormous for me. I mean, I had a huge crypto portfolio. And it was all unrealized gains. I didn't sell anything. I did not sell anything because this move completely faked me out. This expanded flat correction completely caught me by surprise. So I saw my profits go like this, right? So believe me, I know the feeling. I know the feeling very much. So for me to still be here today and be as convicted as I am, I think says a lot about who I am as a person, just from an educational and a grounded individual, and still having a lot of confidence and faith in this market and believing where we're at in the cycle. So don't get shaken out. Just learn from those opportunities, right? So, all right, everyone, I am going to sign out. I should be back at normal times tomorrow. Just a reminder that this month is going to be a little bit hectic for me. I'm going to be doing a lot of traveling. So whether it's personal travel or business travel, there should be a lot of traveling coming up this month. I'll try to keep you guys posted as best as I can. There might be a few days where I'm live streaming from a weird location, or I might be live streaming at an odd time during the day, but I will continue churning out the content. I hope that you appreciate it. If you do, make sure to share this video with at least one person. And until next time, spread awareness. Carry the education forward. Take care, everybody. Take care indeed.